Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to see so many people here. It's fantastic. It must have been the free post-it notes good for you. Hi, I'm Alexa Fan. I'm the Associate Vice President for Research here at Utah State University. I'm also a professor in the Department of Art and Design. And I am so pleased to be welcoming you all to the very first inaugural kickoff event for Horizons. So Horizons is a Shark Tank style competition where undergraduates use their knowledge of research to propose innovative solutions to the really big problems that face us today as people living on planet Earth, and in the United States of America, and in the state of Utah, and in Cache Valley. So I'm super pleased to, I guess, get this rolling as part of our year of undergraduate research, which will start in January 2025. Does anyone know why 2025 is the year of undergraduate? Does anyone besides Athena DuPont back there in the corner, your source of all information on undergraduate research? Does anyone know why it's the year of undergraduate research in 2025? What is significant about that date? No? There's a tentative hand.
Is it like an anniversary or something?
Okay, I'm gonna bring the mic around because we have people who are listening to the recording, hopefully.
Is it like an anniversary or something?
Bingo, you got it. It's the anniversary, the 50th anniversary, the half century of centrally supported undergraduate research at Utah State University. In 1974, President Glenn Taggart, after whom the TSC is named, you may have been in there at some point this year. He brought together a group of faculty from USU and from MIT and from some of the national academies. And they sat down over a period of a couple of weeks in the summer of 1974 and talked about how they could increase opportunities for undergraduate students to engage in real hands-on actual research. So that group that met in the summer of 1974 proposed that the university would make funds available to students who wanted to do a little bit of undergraduate research on their own, and would pay them essentially to do that research. And so in the spring quarter of 1975, we were on the quarter system back then, apparently. I say we, but I was also in like 4th grade. So they launched the URCO program, Undergraduate Research and Creative Opportunities. And that's still going today. We funded over 2,000 student projects. And it's really sort of the centerpiece of USU's nationally recognized leadership in undergraduate research. In 2020, we received the AURA, the Award for Undergraduate Research Excellence, Accomplishment, something like that, from the Council on Undergraduate Research. And that was kind of a nice recognition of the work that we've been doing all along and the work that your faculty mentors have been doing, because really those are the people who matter in all of that. This in terms of making it happen, and those faculty mentors who reach out to you as undergraduates and offer you these opportunities. One of the things that I've come to appreciate in my 6 or so years as USU's undergraduate research program director is how much talent, how brilliant you all are. Young minds are incredibly flexible and adaptable. You learn faster than us old folks, and you see a world of possibilities. You're very innovative, you're very creative. And so I was really excited when Will Gold here came to me with this idea of having a competition where we really set you on the most difficult problems and use your creativity and your ability to innovate to propose some ways that we can address these really big issues. So I'm going to hand it off to Will to talk about Horizons as a sort of process that you'll be involved in. As for myself, I just want to say I'm really excited to see what comes out of this, and I'm super looking forward to that day in April when the teams present. I can't wait for some wacky, amazing, mind-bending presentation. Okay, Will, take it away.
Thank you, Athena. Alexa, sorry, get my name's mixed up. So I'd just like to echo what Alexa said here. Really appreciate you coming. It's great to see so many of you. I'm super excited about seeing what you're going to achieve during this competition. So the purpose of today is to introduce the competition to yourselves, answer any questions you may have, make sure that you leave here today with a good idea of what the competition entails, what you're signing up for, what the benefits are for you. And then towards the end of the session, we're going to have an exercise which would help you form your teams, and we'll be telling you how to register your teams ready for the competition to start. There will also be a cake buffet arriving at the park. So,
Yay, cake.
yay, cake, boys. So, what is Horizons? It's a competition for undergraduate students at Utah State University. As has been mentioned, this is launching as part of the Year of Undergraduate Research, will be running calendar year 2025. So it's part of a wider celebration of the potential for undergraduates to influence their world around them. We're going to be looking at real world challenges facing Utah and the world, all of the challenges, and we'll get into what they are and what they look like. They're what are called wicked problems, and we'll be going over what that exactly means when we get to it. But these are problems that have been chosen because they're going to be on your radar. Whatever you end up doing after you graduate from USU, they're going to be things that you'll have to deal with that will affect your life. And the key point, open to all majors and levels, especially welcome to freshmen. There are no prerequisites for this. You don't need Calc 101 or a certain GPA or anything like that. Yeah, we're interested in your ideas, not necessarily your academic record. We want to encourage interdisciplinary approaches. So it doesn't matter where you think your expertise lies at the moment, you will have something to contribute. And we'll be going into a bit more detail as we go through as to what that could look like. So the challenges, you have hopefully a handout which details the questions that you will be choosing. One of these that your team will be addressing. As I say, they're designed to be quite wide-ranging. Ideally, hopefully, there's something for everyone in here. Now, I used to turn with the problems before. Can I have a show of hands as to anyone who's come across this term before? Do you agree with it? You don't know. Would anyone care to give us a definition? Please.
Here, let's get the.
Thank you.
I'll take it.
Appreciate it.
There we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I hope this is in the same context, but I heard wicked problems defined as problems that are both large and very complex, requiring interdisciplinary knowledge, lots of different angles to solve them, something like that.
Oh, well, I mean, we could put that one on the board and that could be our definition. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Yes, they are problems that are so large and complex. No one person, organisation, government, discipline can solve them. When I first started looking at these, I was given a very discrete example, which I'll share with you now just to make sure we're on the same page. It was about an engineering problem. It was about how to design an air conditioning unit for an enclosed office building, as in the windows didn't open. The engineers had fun designing the building and putting everything in place to make sure that the building was always at an optimal temperature and humidity. But people were still complaining. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too dry, it's too moist in here. So they turned to psychologists and social engineers, and what they came up with was putting thermostats on the wall in each office with a big dial and some buttons which changed the temperature and changed the humidity, and looked all flashy. The only catch was the only thing that was connected to was the power. It had absolutely no effect on the building's HVAC system. And do you know what? After they put that in, people felt better. I'm too hot. I feel better now. I'm going to go sit down at the desk and be happy. So it wasn't an engineering problem. The engineers had done great work designing the building and the system inside it, but they hadn't considered the user end, the psychology of how people perceive heat and how they think about, am I comfortable? Yeah, that's a loaded question, right? Am I comfortable is more to do with what the air temperature is. So that's a very, very small example. If we zoom that out to one of the problems on here and we look at housing, healthcare, any of these, what makes them wicked problems is the minute I put some resources, I put some weight on one end of the scale to solve the problem, the other end of the scale starts coming up. Yeah, these are economic, engineering, policy, social, psychology, they're all of these things together because they all deal with people and large networks of people. So we need our arts, we need our social sciences. So you all have something to bring to the table. Now, hopefully you've seen some of these before, you've had a chance to look over them. Are there any immediate questions that spring to mind on any of the challenges that you have in front of you? No? Awesome. If there are any questions moving forward, just stick your hand up. So these are big problems, right? These are doozies. So we're not expecting you to solve these things. This is one of the things with wicked problems. We as people and as a society, we love what are called silver bullets. One thing solves our problem. I can do it, I can forget about it and move on with my life. These don't work like that. It may be that your solution that you will come up with and present to us is very incremental or deals with a very small part of this. That's fine. That's how progress is made. Yeah, progress doesn't always happen with one big push that advances as a society forward. It often happens with lots and lots of small things. So don't be sitting here going, this guy wants me to solve climate change. That feels like a bit of a big ask. Yeah, I'm expecting you to address something in that area. That being said, for reasons that we'll come on to in a minute, you can be as grandiose as you want. If you want to get into planetary engineering to solve climate change, that's fine with me. So, the nuts and bolts, how it works. Teams of 3 to 6 students. You must be a mix of majors. Now, I'm a little bit new, as you might tell from the accent, I'm actually from the US, I didn't go to university here, so I'm kind of learning the system here a bit. What I mean by majors, and I appreciate there might be some people in the room that haven't declared, or dual majoring, or all these different aspects. Absolutely fine. What I mean is, what do you consider yourself to be? If you consider yourself to be predominantly an engineer, say, I would ask that you try not to find yourself in a team composed entirely of other people who consider themselves predominantly to be engineers. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's something that we're not going to be super, super strict about. It's more about what you consider yourself to be in terms of how you approach problem solving. At least one freshman will transfer. So it's been raised for me that there's a potential issue already with this. This was in a meeting yesterday where some people are coming in, having got credits elsewhere, they're not technically a freshman or transfer, but this is their first year at USU. That's what I mean. If this is your first year at this institution, yeah, whatever year of study you're officially in is less important. Once you've got your team, and we can help you form your teams, you need to choose a challenge from the list. I'm hoping that bit's reasonably self-explanatory. You'll investigate your options in a written options appraisal. This will be 2 sides, literally 1, 2. Think of it as a super, super lightweight review. All we're trying to get here is that you show an awareness that there are other solutions. People are working on these problems other than what you come up with in your teams. Yeah, if you're aware of a solution that is good or bad towards the problem you're working on, it goes in your options appraisal, not in your presentation. I'd like you to try and come up with something new, something fresh. Develop your innovative solution. It may be that from this process, you come up with, hey, it seems weird that no one's tried this yet. That's where a lot of good research ideas come from. And present your ideas to expert judges in April, 10-minute presentation. Win big, hopefully. We'll come on to the prizes shortly. 2-page written report and a 10-minute presentation. That's it for 4K cash first prize. Trying to keep the barriers low on this one. I want you to engage with it and I want you to be imaginative and bold. And a core important note here, yeah. You don't need to do your research, just produce your idea. So I'm going to give you some examples here of just things, well, more or less off the top of my head this morning, but potential solutions. By what I mean by you don't have to do your research. Yes, please, the question.
A 2-page, what do you mean by 2-page? It's like.
Literally, sorry, it's English sort of terminology, 1, 2, like 2 sides of A4. That's kind of it.
Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, it doesn't, what I'm trying to get at here is, I don't want a 3,000 words report, essay style, on the various options. I want it to be super quick. And I'll be coming on to the reasoning why everything's super quick, towards the end of this presentation. So, you don't have to do your research. You are not limited by wherever you think your ability to actually do this research is. If you want to build and prototype a robot that can fly to an asteroid and extract iron ore and mine it and shoot it back to Earth, that's fine. Now, I'm not going to expect you to do it. I will expect you to be able to tell me why you think that's a good thing and give me a rough idea of cost. Hints, it's a lot. Yeah. Similarly, if you want to go more lower scale, if you're like, this was one thing I thought this morning, mental health crisis. If you want to run a questionnaire in elementary schools in the Cache Valley that looks at kids who might have special educational needs and their family mental health background to see if there's a way that we could better target our interventions at elementary school level. Yeah, that's going to be very discreet, super useful though, in my opinion, something like that. So it can be as big or as small as you like. Now, money's the first problem with my robot in space. Ethics, permissions, how that data's handled, these are all considerations for that second one more. And you will need to show an awareness of them. You won't need to deal with them actually. So don't be limited, is what I'm saying. Why do it? What's in it for you? Gain hands-on research experience. Now, research, particularly this type of research, this coming up with ideas, evaluating solutions, this is useful for you even if you have no intention to go into academic research in your career. If you want to be entrepreneurial, if you want to work for an organisation and rise up the ranks, this is the sort of thinking and abilities that you will need. Collaborate with students from different majors. The future's interdisciplinary, molecular Olympics, the way it is. So it's going to give you those opportunities to mix and get ideas and see what other disciplines actually entail and what they're capable of. Because every time I do it, I'm always surprised by how capable other disciplines are outside of my ones. Boost your resume, real world problem solving. Well, people like to see that you can tackle the big problems, that you can think beyond your immediate situation. Develop critical thinking and presentation skills. I'm hoping you're kind of doing that already to some extent while you're here, and this is just augmenting it. And present your proposals to people working in the area. So our panel will be made up of people who actually make these kind of decisions and wrestle with these kind of problems. So you'll have the opportunity to present to them, get some feedback and network with them. And of course the prizes, but I mean, you're not interested in prizes, right? We just here for the intellectual curiosity. Okay, $4,000 cash. Per team, this is not per individual, just to be clear on that. That's the first prize. Runner-up prizes will be $1,500 per team. There'll be some cool Horizon swag. And networking opportunities with local companies, change makers. Hopefully there'll be some opportunities come out of that networking as well. And we're in the process of trying to negotiate them for you guys. So how will your work be assessed? Now there's a rubric that will be up on the website probably mid next week. So it will be completely transparent as to what you need to do, how it will be assessed, and what people marking will be looking at. But these are basically the areas, and it will be a 1 to 5 score. Yeah, so it'll be nice and simple, nice and transparent. I want to take a moment and just focus on the team presentation here, because this is important, but this is the main show right here, the presentation. Clarity and organisation. I hope that speaks for itself, but again, you've got 10 minutes. 10 minutes is nothing. Yeah, you'll be up and done before you know it. So you need to be super organised in how you present your information, getting it across. Innovation and uniqueness of solution. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. You will be rewarded for being a little bit outside the box on this one. Yeah, we want those innovative solutions. We want that stuff which might seem a little bit crazy or off the wall at first. That being said, we will be expecting a nod for feasibility and potential impact. Like I said, if you want to send a robot to Alpha Centauri, that's fine with me. But I want you to at least acknowledge that it's not going to be an easy task. And that you're probably likely to need the whole of the UN at the very least to commit a sizable portion of its GDP to your project. Yeah? You can do that, as again, that's fine, but you need to at least acknowledge the sort of challenges you're going to have. And your impact. Now, this is the key. I don't know if you've heard people talk about, faculty talking about research impact. It's what it's all about. So I'd like to know why your ideas are good. The scenario for this, if it helps, would be somebody like the NSF going, I'm worried about cybersecurity and I've got $15 million to throw at the problem. Why do I throw it at you? What are you going to do that's going to help us solve this problem? Q&A and team dynamics. And now I'm sure we've all had those presentations where two people are like, hey, listen to us talk. And then you've got a couple more people in the team sitting there like this, maybe. Yeah, you're going to be marked on that. So everyone should be involved. If maybe you find it difficult to step forward in presentations, this is your opportunity to step out from the wall and we can help you with that. Presentation, innovation and engagement. Now you can do what I'm doing, which is kind of called chalk and talk. You can have a PowerPoint and you can talk people through it. Yeah. 10 minutes, people, yeah. It's all right. It's a good way of getting across information, which is why it's used, but it's not engaging. Yeah, if you want to make an impact in 10 minutes, I don't know, do a dance, do a musical number. That's at the extreme end, right? You can absolutely do that. If you're
Well, can I just jump in
Yes,
and say
please.
that if you think he's kidding, go on the American Academies of Science website and look at their Dance Your PhD competition, which also has substantial cash prizes. The winners in the various categories are completely wacky, but also I learned a lot about science from watching them. So go check that out. Dance Your PhD.
just to be clear, while we are encouraging dancing, it's not mandatory. As a middle ground, if you're talking about, I don't know, just to rinse it out as I've got it as an example, if you're talking about we want to design robots going into space, make it a cardboard, bring it along. Artifacts, video, pictures, sound, all these things engage people's senses and make your presentation a lot more impactful. Again, we will help you with this. There are various workshops in place as we move through the competition. We do have a fair amount of time on this one, it's not too late. So I'll just go back to that one actually. Any questions on how your work will be assessed? Comments or anything? I'm as open to comments as I am to questions.
If you have a question.
No, we all good? Awesome. As I say, the rubric, which will have all this in detail, will be available online, along with detailed assignment briefs.
There is a
Oh, there is a question. Awesome.
Just really quick, will the judges stay consistent across the categories or will they change based on the discipline?
How do you mean by that? So you mean different judges or
Yeah.
the way that it's one panel? All teams going for the same panel? Yeah, no, we're not going to mix it up. Yeah, that's the fairest way. The judges are being chosen because they represent a cross-disciplinary group of people. So yeah, really good question. Thank you for that. Getting started. Right, I've been hammering this, but I'm going to keep doing it. You don't need experience. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about where you are at or where you think you're at the moment. What I'm more interested in is what you think you'll be able to achieve by April. That's the important thing. No prerequisites, we've covered that. You will be able to register your team today. There'll be a nice big QR code up on the screen at the end, but the registration form is now live on our website. You will be registering as individuals because we need to, I'm figuring we'll need to help people form teams. If you have a team already or a partial team, put the name in so I can see that at least these people want to work together. the name's not final. Yeah, I've been in bands. I know that you can quite happily spend the next 5 months arguing about the team name rather than actually doing a job. So just come up with anything, and if you want to change it later, we'll figure that out. And we can help form your team. Important dates. Your team's not with me by the end of October, you're not in competition. I need to put a deadline on it because there's a load of stuff I need to organise around this, including academic mentors for yourselves. So I should have mentioned that earlier. You will have an academic mentor that we're recommending once a month. You'll meet with them, but that's kind of between you and the mentor. And they'll be helping you through this process. So you will have all the support you need. So you need to register by the end of the month. Or today, which would be ideal, but competition period runs, this date's slightly wrong, but April 2025, we're done. Your written options appraisals due February 28th, and your actual presentations will be on April 11th in the library. It's on the Friday of Research Week. It's the last Friday of Research Week. Student Research Week, so yes. Any questions on the dates? Oh, yes, please.
What if you couldn't do April 11th?
If you absolutely can't do April 11th, I won't lie, it'll be an issue, but it won't be hopefully something that's insurmountable, and we can have a chat. I think if, as an individual, you can't do the final presentation date, that's something we'll have to talk with between you and your team. Does that make sense? So, yeah. I think all problems on this, because it's inaugural, because we're new, we can work through together. So please do bring them to myself or the team. But yeah, if you absolutely can't do that, we can negotiate that with the team. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Are we allowed to,
Hold on.
Sorry, we're recording this Zoom for just the screen and the audio, just for reference. So
are we allowed to request a particular mentor, or is it randomly assigned?
at the moment, they're going to be assigned at our end. The reason for this is because we have a list of mentors who are interested in taking part. However, if you have a mentor in mind and they are willing to do it, as in you've been and asked them, yeah, that's fine with me. That's absolutely fine. You just need to make sure you communicate that with me, so that I can make sure to match you up. But yeah, that's absolutely fine. If you have someone in faculty that you really think, oh, they'd be great to work with, feel free to approach them. And then I can work with them to make sure they're on board and stuff. But yeah, do approach them. Don't just be like, I want to work with Dr. So-and-so, and you've not talked to them about it before, and they maybe never even heard of this or met me or anything like that. So anything else? I'm hoping to have some pretty exciting mentors lined up for you. I'm waiting to confirm my full list, but I'll be able to get it out to the mailing list as soon as I do know. But yeah, we've got some really good people interested, so I think it'd be a valid experience just for that in itself.
It's literally burning a hole in our pocket to tell you who they are, but we can't, yeah.
Yeah. So, onwards and upwards, how are we doing for time? Oh, it's racing through, look at that. So, the big part of this is your teams. Now, would this have been easier if I just said, I'm not too fussed about the size of teams, and there are no prerequisites for the teams, no conditions, you just come and register and we'll get you in the competition? Yeah, for sure. It'd be easy for you guys, it'd be a lot easier for me. But there's a reason behind that, okay? The interdisciplinary approach. So my background is in university research, but also in policy design for the UK government. And you cannot do these things. You cannot tackle these problems. I know I keep hammering these problems, these things, these aspects, but by yourself, as a group of engineers or psychologists, you are ineffective. The main reason being, there will be problems in implementation that you will not have the experience to even identify, let alone begin to address. That is why it's disciplinary. And the freshman transfer, well, I want to encourage more people to engage with research early on in their academic journey. That's why that. Also, I want to mix you guys up. Yeah, I'm sure some of you have got your friendship groups and you work well together, that's great. But in the real life, you might end up working in a project with people you've never met. Sometimes, unfortunately, you end up working in a project with someone that you don't get on with that well. But it happens, but you still have to make it work. That's the professional aspect of this thing. So I'd like to give you the opportunity today with a task to help to form those teams. If you don't, or if you've got friends who are interested in this who aren't here, that's fine, you can sign on as individuals and we will help match you up there. It's gonna be a little bit messy, I'm not gonna lie, the team formation process, but feel with a bit of goodwill, we can work through it together. So, how we're gonna work it today is there are challenge stations around the room. There's healthcare there, there's mental health there, there's a couple stuck to the tables here, and there's more, you may have noticed, outside in the south atrium. Each of the 9 challenge areas, I didn't do each of the questions because I'd just be sticking stuff everywhere and it got messy. So there are challenge stations in here or in the south atrium. The idea is you're going to connect with people who share your interests and form diverse interdisciplinary teams. And you're going to do it with a little icebreaker exercise. So there are some post-its over there. I would like to think about what you're interested in, but also what you bring to the table. This might be, this is my major, or I identify as a psychologist, or sociologist, or whatever it is. It might be just, I'm great at presentations. Yeah, I'm great at team building, whatever it is, something that you bring to the table. Your name, obviously, and just a little F if you're a professional transfer, because the teams need you. So you're probably going to be in demand. 3 of those, and stick them next to the challenge stations that you're interested in. Once you've done that, hopefully our cakes will have arrived and you can have some food. But go and stand by the challenge area that you're probably, I'm kind of, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm kind of imagining most of you came with like, this is the one I'm interested in, right? That's fine, go and stand by that one. And hopefully you'll meet some like-minded people with whom you can form teams. If you don't though, and you're over here by cyber security and you're like, man, we need another person, there should be some names and you can go and try and coach them. Yeah, you can go and find them and be like, hey man, I know you're really into space, but cyber security, come on. That's where the big bucks are. Any questions on the activity? No? Nope. Oh, sorry, one last slide. That's the QR code for the form to register. It is on the website as well.